Rudy? Rudy Jones? Put that man down. What's happened to you?
I don't know, Superman. It's as if I've turned into some kind of monster. Can you help me?
Let me take you back to Star. Maybe Professor Hamilton can treat you.
Okay, Superman. Just don't hurt me.
I won't. Hang on.
Oh, you can count on it. Man, what a rush. So that's what real power feels like.
That's what real power feels like.
What a rush. So
The suggestion here is that I think of when somebody tells you, I don't need to be on crystal meth, I'm high on life. That's really an obnoxious thing that people who are in authority say, that really anything that most people don't like, they're going to say it's not true or they don't like it, but no one's really feeling that good about their life. Everyone lies like that. But it's an interesting idea. They say they're high on life and therefore don't need drugs. What would be, if they both get you high, what would be the difference? And I assume the suggestion is that if you're high on life, that it's somehow healthy, like healthy crystal meth, that crystal meth will get you addicted and will destroy your life, will destroy your body. But if you get high on life, that you can be healthy and high at the same time. And I assume that this has something to do with meaning, that if your life, that meaning suggests some amount of psychomagnesia, which is why we call it meaning, that when you make a tool, for instance, it has special beauty that comes from that. There is an intellectual property that comes from you that is in this object. It will never come from nature. Nothing else will ever be like that, except for if a person does it. That we can't really create things. We have an idea, and we can't create special material just for that idea to make it actually a real object. So we take dirt from around us and we make a portrait of it. We try to create a three-dimensional representation. We imitate that idea with dirt from around us. And that's really what the world we've built all around us is. Just an imitation of the things that have been in mortal minds. And there's beauty in looking at such a thing. There's pleasure in learning about it, using it, and then a reward in what that thing was made to do. And the assumption, the guarantee, that the feeling of comfort, of safety, that you know that if this thing is here, it must have a purpose, that there's something you can do with it, otherwise it would not exist. These things only exist when they come from things that people want. Necessity or want causes people to try to invent, to create things, or rather to imitate creation by invention, contrivance. But we know that the things we make aren't that great, for the same reason why we need to create things in the first place. Our lives don't get put together in a way that perfectly makes us healthy, that makes us able to have a perfect existence. And so our ability to solve those problems are limited as well. So the things we create aren't that great. It's just enough, maybe if we're lucky, to survive or to have something fun, but we need more. And that's why we want meaning. We want all of existence to have this meaning that is really artificial. We want it to be real. We want psychomagnesia, which is that the part of the mind that, let's say, for example, is in an invention that only comes from a person, would be part of nature. And that if nature could do that it could consistently support the things we want in the way that our creations do, but in a way that would ordinarily be beyond our power, like nature for the most part is, which is why we need tools to begin with. And let's say that if that were the case, it would then be possible for a person like Superman to exist, who can do all these incredible things. One of which that I wanted to talk about here is that you see how Parasite, he takes Superman's powers And then he says that he feels good. It's not just what he can do, but he feels a rush that this is what real power feels like.
That's what real power feels like.
Good heavens!
What is that? What's he done to Superman?
That suggests that Superman's powers have a drug effect.
What a rush! So that's what real power feels like.
And so let's say when you're talking about crystal meth, this is dopamine, which, and you hear people on crystal meth talking about it, saying how, it has this beautiful, like it's the most beautiful thing they've ever felt. It makes them feel super confident. It makes them feel like they're the best. They can do anything. It increases your heart rate. It changes your chemistry. And you see people on crystal meth, like breaking records, doing all kinds of crazy things because their body is being pushed to its limits, to things that Homo sapiens usually cannot or don't do because it's dangerous. But suddenly all this power is released, and sometimes it doesn't hurt people and just makes people feel like they're invincible, like they're some incredible power, have power that they did not before. But of course, dopamine will also drive you crazy, and something that I'll say, dopamine goes high enough, it makes you insane. Too low, you're plain Jane, but in the middle, you're Da Vinci. And but let's say that Superman's power is not like dopamine; it's something else. It's some kind of special, fantastic thing. But similar to the dopamine, it makes Superman's metabolism go super fast, and all the endorphins, the adrenaline, the epinephrine, or all those things that have to do with strength, and all the chemicals that cells release that give you that healthy feeling, that feeling of being alive, go way, way high with the activity of the metabolism. And Superman's impervious, so his body can generate a degree of activity that increases that feeling to be so, and his neurons that actually have the chemical reactions that create the feelings, they are so super strong that they can withstand the discharges of energy that allow such a high saturation. I don't know about neurogenesis, which means like, because there's a difference between just increasing the level of a feeling and really creating more of it, like more actual neurons to create like you're really just increasing the activity of a smaller number of neurons, or increasing the number of neurons, which creates a more robust kind of creates more to that experience, rather than just like kind of like a high amount of sugar rather than a whole different material that's just feels better. I think all in all, neurogenesis would be superior, is better, but either way, it's still something to have a big charge of something smaller, of something more simple. And in this case, Superman's powers give him invulnerability and an amount of metabolic activity, I'm assuming, that get him super high. So Superman is feeling like super, but on like moving planets level. Crystal meth will give you like strength to, be, I guess, kind of above most people for your size, but not like moving planets or anything like that. Maybe flipping cars. I don't know. I'm sure that happens or something like that, but not like, of course, not Superman. That's unnatural, supernatural. And I assume that his metabolism is going that much as well, and his feelings are escalated that much as well. So Superman is just super high all the time. He feels like the greatest, like so it's this enormous rush, and you see this when Parasite, like this is one of the few times that someone other than Kal-El has this feeling. And remember, Kal-El has always been like this as long as he can remember. So he's kind of just feeling like that all the time. This is probably the first time in his life that he's ever had his powers taken away, that he has to feel like an ordinary person. And this is the first time that someone else, other than Kal-El, someone who really has lived as an ordinary Homo sapien most of their life until just right now, or maybe a day or two prior to this moment, has never had any superhuman abilities, and now has, in addition to the Parasite powers, has Superman's powers. He's feeling this immense, like, look at his eyes, look at what these people drew, right? That's why I came back to this. In all the videos, I think about this moment. I wish I could feel that. I wish I could have that. But, of course, it's always alluring, the idea of drugs, of feeling really good. I wish I could have that. But drugs are really bad and really dangerous, and I don't want to... I already have enough problems and things I don't want to do that you have to do to have a good life that I don't, and my health isn't good, and I don't obey authority, so everyone hates you. Like, I have enough problems. I don't need drugs on top of all that. But man, I really wish, then especially when all those things go wrong, you really want to escape it. You really wish you could. But fortunately, I've got the tolerance in me to say no. And that's one of the few things in my life where I feel like I did it. With school, with people, with, it was always in the case of people, I'm in the right. I have a right to say no to those people and tell them that they're jerks and not want to be around them. But I'm the one who pays for that, and that's unfair. But that's the way life is. But it always makes you feel like you have to let them do what they want and try to be around them anyway and have fun with them, because if you don't, then you don't have anyone, and they have each other, so I'm the one who pays, and it's unfair. Life sucks. But in either case, this is one thing in my life where I feel like I did it. I said no to drugs. Like, it's something I really wanted to, but I knew it would cause a problem, and I walked away, and I win. And that's the only thing in my life where I get to feel like that. Everything else, it's like, no, I don't want to give that up. No, I don't want to stop that. I'm not willing to live without that. Drugs is something that I wanted, that I was willing to say no to, and my life was better off because of it. And I wish everything in life were that easy. That would explain why Superman was able to withstand the agony matrix when Darkseid hit him with that, because that is extreme pain. Superman without his powers is just a farm boy. He's just some guy. He's not like some hardcore dude without... mentally, he's not that tough mentally. So for Superman to get hit with something like that, it doesn't make sense that he wasn't permanently mentally crippled and like running away from Darkseid every time he showed up. That would be the end of Superman's career. He'd be so scared. He'd be so traumatized. But maybe it's that Superman metabolism, that dump of endorphins and feelings that he has all the time, that kind of null it enough that he can keep going. It gives him valor. He has super valor. His powers give him valor. So even though he could, I'm sure that was extremely painful, his valor was keeping it within his ability to fight through it. And that's what allowed him to do that. I wanted to talk about Superman's super high, the power of it. You don't think about that. One of Superman's powers is that he has super valor, he's super high, he's super feeling good.